Hello and welcome to this session of Design Pattern. We'll be talking about PROXY Design Pattern. This video is part of a 20 hours Udemy course where we cover hundreds of real-world design pattern scenarios. The PROXY Design Pattern is a behavioral pattern that allows a client to interact with an object indirectly through a proxy object. The proxy objects act as an intermediary between the client and the real object, providing additional functionality such as caching, security, or remote access. In the proxy design pattern, the proxy object has the same interface as the real object, so the client can use it interchangeably with the real object. The client is unaware that it is using a proxy object, as the proxy object transparently forwards requests to the real object and may also perform additional tasks before or after forwarding the request. The proxy design pattern can be used in situations where the real object is resource intensive to create, or where access to the real object needs to be controlled or secured. It can also be used to add additional functionality to an object, such as logging, without modifying the original object code. Hello and welcome back. Again, let's take another example code of proxy design pattern using a virtual proxy as an example. What is a virtual proxy? Virtual proxies are used to create objects that are expensive to create. The virtual proxy creates a lightweight placeholder object and defers the creation of the actual object until it is needed. Let's take a look at an example code. In this example, we'll declare an abstract image class that implements an abstract display method. Now I have the interface, and then I can create a real image that takes in the image class, and it also takes in a file name, and then use the file name to load an image from disk. Now I'm going to have the load from disk method, and that just takes in a print of the file name that has been loaded from disk. On instantiation, the image is loaded from disk, and then display method displays the name of the image that was loaded from disk. This is a good example of where we need the proxy. So the proxy will delay the loading of the image until it is needed, so that instead of calling the real image class, we call a proxy image class, and the proxy image class takes in the file name, and it also takes in the image, but on instantiation is not going to put in anything. So instead of automatically loading the image from disk, we're going to be using the proxy to load it, but on instantiation is not going to load any image. The loading will be done in the display method, that is where the image is needed. So we'll check if the real image is not loaded, then it should load the real image from disk, and then we'll pass in the file name. On calling the proxy, it's not going to do the loading until the display is called. So it does a lazy loading of the image. That is what virtual proxy does. After loading the image, then it can call the real image display method. Okay, so let's run this code. Let's do the client code. So we use the proxy image to load the first image, image 1. And then we also load another image. I'll call that image 2. On instantiation, using the proxy image, the two images are not loaded. They are only loaded when you call the display method. And you can see right here, when I call the display method, it actually does the loading of the image and then displays the image. And because it has already been loaded, if I do it again, it doesn't say load image again. It just goes to display image because that image has already been loaded. And even at that, image 2 is not loaded. Image 2 is only loaded when I run its display method. And you can see right here, image 2 is being loaded, and then it has displaying image 2. So if I do another load of image 2, It's not going to load another one. It's just going to show you displaying the image because the image has been loaded into the memory. If I do another one, it's not going to load another image. It's just going to show you that the image is being displayed because it's already in the memory. So the virtual proxy helps to do lazy loading, and it allows you to save memory usage until it is needed. This video is part of a 20 hours Udemy course where we cover hundreds of real-world design pattern scenarios. The course is called Design Pattern in Python with real-world code examples. We showed via practical coding how design pattern is implemented in real-world scenarios like event manager, cache, database connection codes, document management code, creating optimized configuration settings, login frameworks, GUI framework codes, plugin systems, game development codes, payment gateway, document generators, computer graphics generation codes, financial model code pattern, resource pooling, object pooling in ORMs, website creation, database query codes, language translator, web application framework creation, banking system codes, organizational chart creation, file system, interpreter, menu system, text formatting code, authentication code, authorization code, API for OS, document management system, create proxies, event handling, middleware in web development, workflow system, undo redo functionality in apps, job scheduler scenarios, parsers, chart applications, drawing applications, notification system, distributed system, booking system, workflow management system, sorting algorithm, file compression utility, and many more. If you are really serious about your career in programming, you have to get this video, and you don't have to be a Python programmer to use it. Use the link in the description to get the best price for this course on the Udemy platform.